Talking about the possibility that Trump is a Russian agent or a useful idiot or indeed a Russian asset, the Park 8189 says conspiracy theories now. And I've said, no, not necessarily. I'm going to talk about it. So if you will indulge me for a few minutes, I shall do exactly that. I shall talk about it. And you remember the moment in that wonderful film with Russell Crowe, A Beautiful Mind, um, where apophania, where you identify patterns in the stars which aren't there. Pareidolia is another word to describe this. And if it goes too far and is buttressed by schizophrenia, then this is a serious medical condition. But a conspiracy theory is an explanation for an event that attributes its cause to secret, often malevolent forces working behind the scenes that provide some sort of simple solution. It typically has 5 characteristics. First, it assumes hidden knowledge, the arcana, the esoterica, that powerful elites are suppressing. Secondly, it identifies governments, secret societies, or global elites that are allegedly behind some sort of plot. Thirdly, it contradicts official accounts. That's important. It directly challenged established evidence or consensus. Fourthly, it cherry picks facts to construct a seemingly coherent but often misleading but simplistic narrative. And 5, any attempt to disprove it is seen part of the cover-up. It's irrefutable. Conspiracy theories thrive on simplicity. They often answer answers to complex questions, but real-world events are rarely that straightforward. Therefore, sanity suggests that one should be dismissive of conspiracy theories. Conspiratorial thinking is not new. The Catalan conspiracy, Julius Caesar's assassination in 44 BC, fueled Roman suspicions about shadowy cabals. The medieval world saw the spread of blood libel myths about Jewish communities. The 20th century has seen significantly more because of the rise of accessible media. The 20th century has been rife with political conspiracies, from McCarthyism's Reds under the bed paranoia to theories about the moon landing hoax. The 21st century, fueled by the internet, has birthed everything from the 9/11 inside job to QAnon. And not all conspiracies are false. Watergate, Iran-Contra, the MK Ultra mind control experiments were once dismissed as paranoid fantasies before being proven true. The difference, hard evidence, not just perceived patterns. And it's that difference between hard evidence rather than perceived patterns which is significant in Senator Jeff Merkley's straightforward questions. Is Donald Trump a Russian agent, whether he knows it or not? And the reaction from Trump's former officials was telling, not a direct refutation, but a deflection. And the response was not, here's why this accusation is false, but rather, Trump is a great deal maker and he wants peace. That's not an answer. Merkley wasn't making wild claims about secret meetings or coded messages. He laid out 5 observable facts from which you draw a conclusion, from which you draw a pattern. 1, Trump echoed Russian propaganda from the Oval Office by claiming that Ukraine started the war and that Zelensky was a dictator. Those are Russian tropes. 2, he conceded key points to Russia before negotiations began, explicitly ruling out NATO membership for Ukraine and removing any leverage before talks by stopping down. Actually, it's got worse, by stopping down the intelligence sharing, by stopping the weapons aid. 3, he cut off US arms shipments to Ukraine, which significantly weakened Ukraine's ability to resist Russian aggression. 4, by weakening transatlantic unity, this has long been a strategic goal for Russia. Trump undermined US-European relations. And 5, he demeaned Zelensky on the world stage. The infamous press conference with his vice president, the gerbil, publicly humiliated Ukraine's leader. Now, these 5 points are not speculative claims, they are documented actions. And the real question is not whether Trump is a secret Russian agent, but whether his decisions, wittingly or not, align perfectly with Russia's strategic interests. And that is the question. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's a legitimate question. Although it borders on a lot of the conspiracy theory rubbish, this is not rubbish. This is a question posed with all credibility in a formal setting by a senator of the United States. To illustrate the difference between legitimate inquiry and conspiratorial thinking, let's take another controversial case, the origins of COVID-19. Now, the idea that COVID-19 could have leaked from a Wuhan lab is a reasonable hypothesis. Lab leaks have happened before, and investigating this possibility is a matter of scientific due diligence. The claim that COVID-19 was intentionally engineered as a bioweapon is a conspiracy theory. It assumes secret coordination, malevolent intent, and a cover-up without any direct evidence. Similarly, asking whether Trump's actions benefit Russia is rational. Claiming that he is a fully controlled Russian agent orchestrating a grand secret plan crosses into conspiracy. People have an innate tendency to seek patterns in randomness. Ancient civilizations connected the stars or the constellations, assigning them a divine meaning, which still continues today with astrology. You know, when you go back to the 17th and 18th century, there was no difference between astronomy and astrology. Astrology is the teacup staring stuff. Astronomy is the serious scientific investigation into the way the stars and the planets move. John Nash, the real-life mathematician portrayed in A Beautiful Mind, saw conspiracies where none existed because his mind imposed order on chaos in a supra-scientific way, in a way that was absurd. And that's why conspiracies are seductive, because they provide an easy, structured explanation. They provide a pattern that no one has perhaps seen before, and that they provide this reassurance. Here is the solution. Here is the arcane, esoteric message which provides an answer to your anxiety. Real-world problems are not a neat puzzle. They're unpredictable, often contradictory, and they're shaped by competing interests, by imperfect decision-making. One of the major features of conspiracy theories is that they're all about perfect decision-making. That's not human life. Human life, and what we observe, is error. One of the most striking elements of Merkley's exchange was his composure. He didn't rant. He didn't accuse without evidence. He didn't allow the conversation to be derailed. His calm, precise questioning forced his opponents into defensive obfuscation. Obfuscation, why? If it's not a conspiracy theory, why obfuscate? Why not answer the questions directly? History shows that level-headed persistence is more effective than sensationalism. When Joseph Welch confronted McCarthy with, "Have you no sense of decency, sir?" it was a devastating moment, not because it was theatrical, but because it cut through the noise with quiet moral authority. Similarly, when reporters exposed Nixon's Watergate cover-up, they didn't rely on speculation. They built their case meticulously, letting the facts speak for themselves. Jeff Merkley's questions about Trump and Russia don't fit the framework of conspiracy theory. They are based in documented actions, not speculative leaps. He doesn't allege a shadowy cabal pulling strings behind the scenes. He simply points out that Trump's choices consistently align with Russian interests. And I think that's worth an explanation rather than a deflection. The danger of conspiracy thinking is that it oversimplifies complex problems. It seeks an easy answer where there is none. But dismissing all uncomfortable questions as conspiracies is equally dangerous. The lesson: that we should stay skeptical, not cynical. demand evidence but don't ignore patterns when they emerge. But above all, remain calm, focused, and rational, because in the end, those are the tools that expose real corruption, real incompetence, and real danger.